little bit about how you prepped for the GRE, anything that surprised you, what your experience was like taking the test, and any tips you have for test takers.
Okay, so I think the biggest surprise was that it was online, and maybe I should have known that before, but I was really surprised. The nice thing about it being online is you get your scores right away, but you definitely want to practice the test online. And when you sign up for the GRE, make sure you're clicking, if it's free, but you have to click that you want the free online to hit the power prep tests or something. I would highly recommend them. They come with 3, I believe. 1 or 2 of them are timed, 1 of them is untimed, which was nice. I started with the untimed. I was just watching TV, doing problems, and then the 2 timed ones, I locked myself in my room, nobody came in, and I just sat there for the 4 hours or whatever it took and practiced it. And I did so I did have the book, and another thing I did, I would sit on my couch and do practice problems in the book, but I would say they're great for learning material, and they have really great sections, not just the practice exams. If you read through it, they have really great tips, but I would definitely, when practicing, you should be doing the online one, especially right before the exam. So that's my one tip. Another thing I did up until the test date was, I don't know if you guys you're walking around campus, you're going to the gym, you're running. I listened to podcasts about the GRE. It was really boring sometimes. It was hard to work out listening to some man talking about vocabulary, but it was really helpful in the day of the exam. I was driving, had it going, and I not only used a few of those terms in my essays, they did show up multiple on the exam. So I don't know, have you guys started any practice exams yet? I don't know, it's pretty far away, so I don't know if you have yet. A lot of them are multiple choice with 3 different answers. In order to get the whole question correct, you have to get each of the 3 correct. So even if you get 2/3 of the problem right, it's wrong. So that's 15 possible terms in one question. So I would say vocabulary is a really, really big part. For the vocabulary section, I would say, or the verbal, I would say vocab is the most important part. And then when you're thinking of the quantitative section, online they have a lot of, these are the 50 important math equations you need to know. I don't know if they have some on the website too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that definitely, unfortunately, I'm a senior now. I took geometry and algebra sophomore year of high school. I had not done geometric proofs, any of that in years, really 6 years. So I was really, when I first took it, and there were angles, the parallel lines, this angle correlates, I could not remember any of that. So that's another good, they have some in the book, but definitely I looked up a list of all the equations you need to know for the GRE. I just Googled it, and I was able to find them. The math, I'm not the biggest math person, I'm a science person, but math has never been my strong suit, so that was definitely the hardest section for me. But I would say if you can get those formulas down, then you should be really good. The power prep tests, and it's probably because ETS produces them, were very similar to the GRE, almost identical in the sense that the sections match. So you'll start with there's a basic, maybe small word problem, and then eventually you get to this big word problem that has 6 different questions associated with it. A lot of times it's a pie chart that has percentages and all that kind of stuff. And every practice test I took, there was a very similar problem. So I would say that book is great. I would say the power prep test is great. I Googled a lot of things, free GRE test, free everything, which is good, but I think the power prep test was the best. And again, you can get that for free when you sign up for the GRE.
And we'll talk about some of those resources as we go through that. So that's good to know that was the most valuable.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really it for studying. It's ironic I did the best on writing. I think writing's my strong suit, and I didn't practice that much. But I did do morning prompts. They have some short little prompts. It's really only a page or 2 essay when it gets down to it. So if every morning some people journal, you could just do your GRE prompts, and then that would help you. But I definitely spent more time on the math and verbal, especially because a lot of my programs didn't care about my qualitative, I think it's called, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, the writing one?
Yeah, the writing one. So I was kind of really heavy on the math, really heavy on the verbal. But so any questions about tips so far? I can move on to the day of. Do you have any questions in general?
So did you have for your morning prompts, did they like send you one, or did you just find one?
I Googled them a lot of times, like GRE prompts. And the book was really helpful in that there's 2 types of questions. I can't specifically remember
We'll talk
them.
about that later.
Yeah, and you'll get into that. But there's 2 questions, and you need to answer them a certain way. It's kind of like they kind of want you to make things up in a way. Like you're going to be given this problem that you might not really know about, and they want you to make up a solution. So it's critical thinking. It's so you answer that one way, and then the other. And again, it goes into that really in depth in the book. But it's really important how you phrase them. So.
And then, did you like go to the Career Center or something for people to like check and see your essays?
I did not, but that would be a really good. We have writing tutors.
Yeah.
So I work in the Center for Academic Achievement, and we do have writing tutors. So I think that would be a really good idea. I think so. There's some prompts in the book, and I would write mine out, and then I would look. They give you examples of a good essay. So I would kind of look and see, okay, did I use similar vocabulary words? Did I set up my essay the same way? Luckily, there is no right answer, but there is a right format, I would say. So as long as your formatting is the same, I think.
I wanted to ask if there's any way to, so like when you sign up for the GRE, can you sign up even if you are not sure exactly when you're taking the exam? Can you like?
I think you have to sign up for a specific date and place in order to
Yes,
take it.
you can change the date for $50.
Okay.
So
But when you do, like when you do your account, you have to go in and be like, I'm taking the exam
yes,
this day.
you can make an account.
I think you can make your account and then decide when you
Yeah.
want to do that.
But when you want to sign up, you can't just say I'm gonna take. You know what I mean? Like when you pay, that's when you pick your date, and then.
Okay.
Another tip that I had, I like to be on time and everything, which is, I think a lot of people do. Some people like to go to Center City, so if you're familiar with the subway and everything and Uber, you can do that. But I also found a location in Jersey that was only 30 minutes away. I can look it up if anyone has questions, but that was nice because you could drive there, I could park there. They let me come in 2 hours early. It was just very relaxed there. So for people who aren't as city-oriented maybe, it definitely was a much more relaxing process. So those are the 2 local areas. So we can talk about the test day, the actual day. One thing to think about, I did not know, I have like a lucky necklace. They take all of your jewelry off, they take your watches, they make you take off your shoes, they use a metal detector. They make you, I had pants on, I had to pull up my pants to make sure I didn't have anything written on my arms, like that kind of thing. So definitely, not that any of you would, but definitely don't try and sneak anything by them because they are intense. You get a locker, you put everything in there, you can't have water in there. Make sure you eat before you go because it is, I think, 4 hours?
It's 3 hours and 45 minutes is the test. So.
It's quite long. You can take a break. There's a certain way.
Yeah,
I
there's a 10-minute
didn't, so I'm
break.
not sure. But yes, in between the sections, it'll say like a 1-minute break to breathe, and you're just like, okay. And then the 10-minute is when you can run to the bathroom. They'll check you again. Your phone's locked, so you can't do any of your IDs. Like everything's gone. You get little noise canceling headphones, which I thought was really nice. So, because it's a room almost like a computer lab with dividers. At least mine was. So you're in a cubicle. You can't see anyone. You have scrap paper. You can cancel their typing. So it was a really nice setup. I found it really easy to focus, and I got done everything in time. I didn't have any sections where when I was doing it at my house, I did not get done in time, but I had distractions, like flipping my wash and my roommates yelling, but I found it easier to finish on time. I think that's all about test day.
Anything else about test day? There's lots of details about that, both in the bulletin, which is linked online, and then also we'll talk about a couple other things too in the presentation. Any other tips or questions?
I think that's it. It really is not as scary as I thought it was going to be. It went really well. So I would say my biggest tip is don't waste the 4 free sends. Definitely come in with your universities that you know and make sure you know what scores they need, because you don't want to send a score that doesn't meet it. But that's probably my biggest tip.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Tess.
You're welcome. Good luck, guys.